Good evening, everyone. Rob has explained that my partner, Irfan, has had surgery on the Tuesday, so he's not here this evening, but you will meet him in a few minutes. Allow me to thank you for sharing our journey on Partners in Possibility with you. So this is a partnership between Asiona, Garlandale High, and the partnership made possible by Partners in Possibility. So that's a bit about Asiona, who is a renewable energy company, and the aim is to create sustainable resources. And on the other hand, you have Garlandale High, a high school in Athlone, situated in the Athlone area, but draws learners from across the Cape Flats. And so, when I thought about it, I realized what we do at school is possibly exactly that, trying to create sustainable lives, so that the learners who leave can create lifelong learning and sustainable lives for themselves. So that's what I thought. We had nothing in common. I realized that we're both trying to create sustainable livelihood. So I present you the representative for Asiona, Irfan Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. I am so sorry I'm unable to attend this occasion. Participating in this PFP program has been such a special life experience that I wanted to find a way to add my 2 cents to the proceedings. So we got creative. As a leader, I have learned through this program that leadership is not about having all the answers, but more about working together as a team to create solutions based on everyone's strengths. Dawn and I have come a long way since the start of this circle. Developing a sense of trust and open communication has increased our ability to communicate and engage with each other and other stakeholders. Dawn is a very dynamic person, confident in her own skills as a leader in the areas of communication and managing people and resources, but also aware of her development areas. One of her strengths is that she constantly seeks new and different ideas and methods to improve the effectiveness of the school. She is energized, passionate, and totally committed to achieve the objectives of this partnership. There are numerous challenges that Dawn faces daily, and this is where I, as the partner, try and assist, not to resolve the issues, but merely by listening and supporting her in order to achieve the desirable outcomes. Stepping back and thinking about what the team needed from Dawn and I, rather than just telling them what we wanted them to do, helped us understand how to lead from behind, supporting and empowering people, rather than trying to pull them along from in front. We realized that people get more done and better results are achieved when you stop blocking their creative views. The main focus in PFP is on empowering principals. As business partners, we get exposure to the training and insight in how the schools operate, and we are obviously intended to grow and develop our own leadership capabilities. But I think the step change for principals, being exposed to management thinking, is quite revolutionary and profound. For me, the impact of participating in the program has been the realization that you don't need to have all the authority in order to have the influence or be a leader. If you build positive and trusting relationships, you can create a sphere of influence without necessarily being in charge. Many thanks to Paul, our facilitator, for the support of our circle, and to PFP for the changes they are making through this initiative. It has been a privilege and an honor to participate. Thank you.
So that's Irfan, my business partner. And so now a little bit about Dawn. I really, up until a couple of months ago, I really thought that I was this near-perfect leader. I was maybe perfect. I was motivated. I was energized. I knew what I wanted, and I had direction, and I knew how I wanted to get there. But at the same time, I was also frustrated and lonely in the position. I was frustrated often because I just thought people weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they weren't doing it right. I was often lonely, or I felt quite lonely because at the school, the parents weren't involved. The immediate community is older, so they aren't school-going children, so the neighbors don't care about the school. And so, as motivated as I was also quite lonely, and I just sometimes was going between days of, is this really what I want to do? And then along came PFP. And between all the COPs, where I had a chance to share, between all the submissions where I was forced to review, I think I learned lots from the workshops. So the Time to Think workshop really gave me an opportunity to say, sit back and think, and create a space for other people to think as well. Because normally when there was a meeting, I would come with the ideas already, and this is what we're going to do, and let's just get it done. The flawless consulting really taught me patience, because I wanted things done now and yesterday. But I think the biggest impact for me was the community building workshop, because it was the one that gave me the aha moment. Because I was saying all along, I'm lonely, the neighbor doesn't understand, and there's no community, and suddenly I learned there's another community out there. So the workshop, the course really gave me a chance to do lots and lots of introspection. And as someone said earlier, I'm very far from perfect, and I'm learning a lot every day, but I think I'm celebrating my small wins, because when I do something, I realize immediately that's not the right way. But so I'm saying I'm aware of what I'm supposed to be doing, and that for me is a big step. So as the year progressed, I've implemented a few things. So I've started to create safe spaces for people to talk and to think and to give ideas, and it was quite difficult for me. But I've done that, and so I've also learned to listen a lot more. I've started what I call the Starfish Awards. At the end of every term, I choose a teacher and give him or her an award for something that stood out during the term. And I think that's motivated the staff to try and do a little bit more. The stepping back has been the biggest thing for me. I was, like many of you, I wanted to be in control. And so the stepping back has been the hardest part in school as well as in my personal life. Quite recently in the year, I had to deal with my mom, who's 83, and she had a fall. And under normal circumstances, I would take the lead and say who must do what. But I was also so caught up and overwhelmed with school, I just thought, you know what? Here's your chance to step back. And I'm happy to say that my mom's healed well, and it wasn't all me. Everybody else shared ideas, and when they asked, what do you think? I said, it's up to you guys. Whatever you choose to do, which was not me. I even have chances at home where I have adult children in the home. They sometimes saying, you're just lying there, you're so quiet. I don't feel the need to talk all the time and have everything to say. So I'm letting them all the time, the space to think and the time to do and bring your ideas as well. I've also introduced some rounds in my SMT meetings where people are given a chance. I've asked the question the other day, what are you hopeful about? So I kind of copied that one, Paul. In terms of the impact of what I've tried through the year, I have to admit it has been quite uncomfortable in the beginning. The SMT, for example, I first giggled. What are we supposed to think about? What am I hopeful for? But when they kind of got going, I was impressed, because each one had something to say. And so we've kind of started doing that a lot. The biggest impact, I think, is my self-awareness. As I said earlier, I probably still make mistakes along the way, but I am aware of them. There's a lot less frustration on my part, because I'm not trying to control, I'm not trying to talk all the time, I'm not trying to direct everyone. I take the step back, and so I've eased the frustration on my part, which is really good for me. Even though it's been uncomfortable in the beginning, it has created amongst the staff, and SMT especially. And I say SMT especially because I just take my mind back to the flawless consulting. I was fighting with the learners because I thought they were my clients. And I learned there that the staff, the SMT are my clients. They can fight with the other tiers. And so the SMT are a lot more actively participating in our discussions. And that's a step in the right direction for us. So when I first met Irfan, I was quite skeptical. I just thought, what do we have in common? I soon learned, well, we met very often, and soon learned that there was this ear to listen. We built a really good trust. I know this is spelling error. We began to think alike, and we developed a shared vision. And so we also became aware of each other's limitations. You know, the busyness of school. Sometimes he also had to wait outside until I could see him. And there were days we arranged meetings and he couldn't make the meetings and so on. So it was quite a bit of juggling of time. But we learned to appreciate that. What was important is that there was this someone. I said at the beginning, I was this lonely person. And now there was someone that I could offload, who kept me motivated, who kept me focused. And I began to look forward to our meetings. I also began to get excited when something happened. Where's Irfan? I'm just telling this thing is going right now, or this actually worked now. So it was really great having Irfan on the side. When we sat down in our meetings, we discussed the challenges that faced Garlandale High. And while our results are satisfactory, I'm going to say we border on 80 to 90% matric pass rate every year, there were lots of challenges and lots of room for improvement. And one of the biggest challenges we thought was the learner low self-esteem. Our learners come from impoverished backgrounds. There's no motivation, there are no role models, and so they're just going through the motions. Security had been upgraded, and we felt that we needed to upgrade the buildings because we felt if the environment was conducive to learning, that they would learn better. And we also felt that we had to build some capacity in terms of the human resources being staff, governing body, SNT, and so on. And so through our regular meetings, we conducted a school self-evaluation, identifying all the focus areas, and we drew up an action plan. And this action plan was about improving the safety, improving the buildings, but all of those things was lots of money. And so we began to think about business plans to approach businesses, corporate world for sponsorships. But in the business, it didn't always work out. And then one of the capacity building, we felt we needed to also just get the staff team building going. So we arranged at the end of term 2, a staff building activity. So this